The Construction Sport Podcast. We're live, unfiltered, unedited, all out there with the great Andy Stevens of the Build Network UK. Andy, you're back in the room. The room has changed a bit. That must have been a year ago now. More than that. A year and a half, 2 years ago. We come in, we had a little chinwag.
Paint on the wall, foam on the wall.
Got it all. Going places.
Got a level upside down.
Curtain. That's where we had the Christmas party behind there. And that's all we say. Did you see the Christmas special? They wrapped up every single bit of this in wrapping paper. Them boys, everything got wrapped in wrapping paper. Everything.
I did see it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, boys put it well. Was it
That
was
one where you had a couple of
the wrapping paper was
Yeah.
The wrapping paper was donated to us. It wasn't the best use of charitable money, but we got it donated to us from the pound stretcher downstairs.
props.
We actually bought it ourselves, actually, I think, to make sure of that. But yeah, all props for advertisement, marketing purposes. How's Build Network UK going? Andrew Stevens.
It's good. It's like anything in construction. It takes time to get going because we are an industry that's very slow to adapt change, as
Behind program.
as you've seen. Anything from AI to digitalisation to being proactive in charities, everything takes a bit of time, but it's where I want it to be, which is good.
Yep. Getting the faces on there and the right people.
Yeah, I think now we've got to focus. We've got a few more people booked in. Had a bit of time out for personal reasons, which obviously you know about. But yeah, it's going well. It's going well. The problem is anything in life, I try and run before I can walk. So already people in Australia and North America are like talking to us. It's like eventually long term, but now
this is the thing. It's a worldwide situation at this industry. What's the best thing? And
well, also the fact that
it's a very small place
and there's nothing like this globally.
No,
that's why we set it up.
Yeah, it's reporting on. So the idea is to report on not the real informative stories that were going on, really. I suppose in the ways things work.
It's free advice, resource, help.
Yep.
And if there's one thing we got feedback on straight away was, is the industry ready for a weekly news show like that? Not really. It will be, but not now. So the feedback was very much, look, if something happens that we need to know about, good or bad, because we always wanted to be positive, then do it. So we did that test with the on the tools, right or wrongly having performers. We've all got views on it. We put it across unbiased, neutral, show, let people make their own mind up, and that went divvy. So, I mean, it's not something really. Does the industry really not care about it? But should we be focusing on other things? Probably. But if that's what people want, that's what you.
Yeah, it was a strange time actually, wasn't it?
It was a bit bizarre.
It was bizarre. It soon disappeared, didn't it?
Well, exactly. What was it?
Yeah. Well,
Yesterday's.
I tell you, fair play. They done open day on the tools. Did with they invited everyone to come in to talk about it. I haven't spoken to them for a while actually. I'm catching up with them tomorrow actually at UK Construction Week. But I don't think anyone really turned up for it.
I don't think it's gone. It's done.
Yeah, shame, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it's one of those. That whole situation was just a bit of it happened. Hands up, open up about it. The industry's a weird place. That's what we found out. I think we learned from that one.
People are focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah, definitely.
We haven't got enough hours in the day to do what we're doing.
Actually, honestly, went quiet. Greg Wallace popped up.
Sorry. The reason I paused there is because he actually popped up in there's a WhatsApp group of old London Welsh players from yesteryear. He popped up in it last week. That's when you say he popped up, because he claims, I don't know if you've seen
it's just come out, isn't it? Yeah, he's come out.
He used to play for London Welsh.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we started in the group. Anyone remember him turning up? He had a son in one of the minis or the youth teams, and there's rumours that he may have put a shirt on for a couple of minutes in a Vets game or something. But his PR team put a picture of him with no top on, and I don't know if it was edited, but like
London Welsh is definitely saying nothing to do with us.
Well, the great thing is we basically said, look, whatever happens in the clubhouse, in town, on tour, blame Greg. If he wants to be part of it, he's taking the flak for everything we got up to.
Yeah.
Job done.
It's a funny one, because he was, I suppose, trialled by media before it even hit the media, wasn't it? Over the years, people could see something. Well, not that we're going to condone any of it, but yeah, different characters, eh? You've done a bit of presenting in the world, not saying you're one of them. On the beat, like, what was your, where did your presenting career start? We spoke about your construction stuff before. Where did all this come? Yeah,
So I got asked to do a casting for an ad.
Yeah.
TV ad, which I went along, dicked about. That was when I turned up covered in, I can't remember what it was, plasterboard dust, something like that. And it was a very small role. Got that. Then there was some writing things. So I wrote for some of the magazines, did the exhibitions way back, Ideal Home, Grand Designs, Home Build Renovating, UK Construction, all of them.
Yeah.
So the only one I do now is Home Building and Renovating because the rest of them are a bit poo. And that's phenomenal. Best team I've ever.
Yeah, you're there quite loyally every year, isn't it?
I'm
big turnout as well.
Am I the youngest? Probably, and I'm 50 next birthday. So when you got someone in finance, interior design, architecture, engineering, QS, this is the best of the best. So even though we're good mates, because we've been working together for, I think it's my 8th year, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah, superb.
I've really enjoyed that.
What was it called? Home Building
Renovating Exhibition. So I used to write for the magazine. I haven't got time now, but brilliant people. Yeah. Really, really good. We're actually talking to them as well about possibly doing something together.
Cool.
And
that's during the week and weekend job, is it, or is it just the weekend they do it?
So they have two big ones, London and the national one. They call it national, the NEC. So there's 4 days there, 3 days London, and then they have the odd regional one like Scotland or West Country. It's just the weekend.
Yeah.
I think they're brilliant, and the fact that I think it's 90-something% of exhibitors come back because people turn up with, here's a set of drawings, I want to go. And it's a really well-run show. And then, what did I do first? Was it BBC? It was BBC. I remember because we were on a job.
You're one of them.
Yeah.
I suppose technically we are.
Yeah. No, we were on a job, and I got this comment. It was a gorgeous, big extension we did in Isha. We were there for 11 months. And we played football before we fitted it out. That's how big it was. Yeah. She still can't furnish it, bless her. And I got this call from a production company. What was it called? I can't think what it was called. It was one of these where you go in, analyse what's been done, and then fix it.
Yep.
So I went along. I tell you who was presenting it. Clive Holland.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me in a minute. So anyway, went along and gospel truth. We had a day to shoot everything, and it was all a bit new to me. There's lots of, flashy lights and massive crew, cameras everywhere. He said, what do you think? And basically an extension had been done. She felt it had been done on the bodge, and it wasn't right. First of all, building control passed it all. Yes, the finishing wasn't great, but as you know, building control don't have anything to do with quality. It's done to standard regs. So anyway, he said, can you have a close look at it? So she claimed she had a leak from the bathroom above into the room below. Yeah. And there was this brown stain. So I got up there and I said, look, I don't know if you want me to say this, but that's brown paint. She's put that on there to say it's definitely no water leak. So I went upstairs. It was a floating floor that wasn't laid well. Checked under the bath. No sign of leaks or anything like that. And then she claimed this other thing was, this guttering was leaking, all these things. It was just not great, but there's nothing wrong with it technically.
Yeah.
So we're now about 10:15 in the morning.
Hammering the industry for it, aren't
big time. I mean, she was in tears and all this. And then we realised what the problem was. We got to 10:15, and she said, would you guys like a drink to all the crew? Oh, yeah, a cup of tea would be lovely. And gospel, she bought herself a pint of cider and necked it. So she's a pisshead. Yeah. And all the crew, we've got to do, we can't not get something from today. So it was all then we turned it into maintenance about how you look after your property. It won't fall to pieces and cost more in the long run. And then did something with Tonight programme on ITV, and then went for a casting, got called about a casting for this series with Lucy Alexander, who did Homes Under the Hammer for 14 years, I think. She then got the Carpet Right gig, the ambassador. Well, you've seen the ad where she sits a bit of carpet. And obviously BBC's contracts are you can't do any commercial work. Okay. So she was pretty much
really?
out the door, which is strange because obviously, what's his job? Nick Knowles has done other bits, but he's still there. But anyway, she then went to this house in, was it Surbiton, I think, in southwest London. Got there, I was covered in sand and cement. I mean, looked like I've been swimming in it. You know when your mix just goes mad because you've overfit it? I was absolutely laid. I said, look, I'm sorry, I've just come straight from work. That's what we want. Anyway, the guy before me came out in a suit. I'm like, look, they're not going to want this, scabber to come in. And I said, right, what have I got to do? And she says, right, we're going to hide here, sort of in the hallway by the stairs. Then there's a door here into the kitchen. We walk in, all the cameras are there. Then we start talking about blah, blah, blah.
Yep. She's
really nice. She was really nice. So different off camera.
Yep.
So when she comes on camera, bang, she's so professional. She is really good. So when we walked in, came in, she said, this is the family here. They're starting to outgrow the house. This is the kitchen. This is what they want to do. They want to extend here, remove the kitchen, maybe take that wall out. What would you recommend? Before you answer, they're really tight on budget. So to keep costs down, anything you can recommend. I've forgotten where I am. So I've just turned around first thing and just gone, well, you get all that fancy club off, put some overalls on and get busy. You can get money down that way. And as soon as I said it, I was like, maybe I should. And everyone has just paused. She's then laughed, obviously found it quite funny, not got upset by it. And we just hit it off. So as I walked off, I said,
like, want a bit of honesty.
Well, we went through it and she sort of said, I said, how do you, I said, look, I'm really sorry. I sometimes, brain and mouth don't engage. And she goes, I've cancelled all the other auditions. It's yours. And I said, well, production company, no, I want to work with you. So we started filming. It was meant to start, it was in the southeast of England only because her daughter had an awful virus when she was 12.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Basically, Kitty's in a really bad way, a lot of pain, some 1 in a million virus, and ended up in a wheelchair, bless her. So she wanted to be near home, so they shot it in the southeast, which was great for her and me because she was only up the road. I think she's still in Thames Ditton. So started filming, everything great. Then head of Channel 4 was like, there's not enough diversity, there's not enough accents. So we started going to Newport and Birmingham and here, there and everywhere.
Really, yeah.
And it was fine. It was a bit wanky, like you got crew running after you. What can I get you for lunch? I got legs. It's a Greg's there. I'll just pop over. It was all a bit,
was it?
Yeah. But then,
so that's when it really started to change, was it? Yeah,
well, but then the hard thing for me was, and it was I remember it well because he used to be physio at the Dragons.
Okay.
This was in Newport, and I think he had a son in one of the Colts or something. Got on really well, and they had this what I call typical, Welsh townhouse.
Yep.
Sort of 3 up, 2 down. One is do all this work and, a lot of work, kitchen, bathroom, rewire, central heating, flooring and decorating. Yeah. And I said, what's your budget? And he said, 2,800. I went, what, for everything? And he said, yeah, we've saved up. That's all we got. And I said, you'll get a boiler on the wall. You'll get it commissioned, tested, signed off. But I said, you're probably not going to get a lot more than that, maybe a bit of deck. Yeah. And then they turned around and said, you can't say that. I said, well, why not? You're paying me for my expertise.
Yeah.
And you're telling me what I can and can't send. So, but it didn't finish the series.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to tell him that, yeah, it's fine. We'll afford that for you.
And that really hit to me that mainstream media, it's a lot of it is for the cameras.
We had one a while back, actually. The guy said to me, can you look at this bit of work in Kent, I think it was, that way. We've got a client, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. Could you come in? I said, yeah, no worries. And he said, yeah, just let you know, Steve, could you come on Wednesday? I said, yeah, I can't do Wednesday. I can do the following Monday. Oh, no, I need you to be on Wednesday. I said, we can't do that. I said, can he do the Monday? No. I went, okay, so no worries. He said, why can't you change it? He said, don't. The client's a nightmare. And I was like, I don't want this job. Literally, yeah. So we did. I said to him, that's no worries. I said, I just can't do it. Didn't put a price in or anything. But you're telling me the client's a nightmare before I've even the first conversation.
But this is how I got to when I was still on the tools. You walk into a massive house.
Yeah.
They've got 6-figure budget to do this work.
Yep.
Most people, ideal job.
Yep.
Plenty of space, loads of parking, deliveries all sorted, no pissing about, bumping it up the curb or round the back of the house. You walk in and it's just like, take your shoes off.
Yeah.
You think, they're going to put a naught on the end, but I'm just going to walk out of here.
Yeah.
But they don't realise this.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't want the job?
Yeah.
And in the end, you just got to front it up and say, I'm sorry, but the way you spoke to me, it was awful.
Yeah.
Why am I going to work for you?
Yeah.
If I turned up in a suit, if it was your accountant, you'd look very
it's even to the
at
point
me.
of when people start bartering people's price down then, isn't it? It's like, you're going to be like that day one, then this is going to be an nightmare all the way, isn't it? And I think, respect the fact you got a price from them. Do you want to go with it or not? That's it. Did you get many people do it? Did everyone always want a discounted rate to what you'd always put out? Trying to haggle down.
But that's the reason it didn't
It
work
comes out
out.
the quality of the job.
Well,
it's the only place you can take it out of, isn't
So funny enough, one of the talks I do at Home Building Renovating is, how do you find and work with tradespeople or builders?
Yeah.
And, the big thing is you can't compare a Metro with a Maserati.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're paying 600 quid for a second-hand Metro, it's probably going to be a bit shit.
Yep.
It'll do the job for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're paying 50 grand for a Maserati,
chances are recommend it to you as well. Won't it? The people have done their homework when they all ask you to come give them a price, don't they? So
that's the other thing. When you've been recommended because you've done little, Stuart's mate at school, his mum and dad's or something, and then they come in and start picking your price to pieces.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that pissed me off is, can you break it down? So when you go and buy your bananas in Tesco's, you say, right, how much is logistics?
Yeah.
How much goes to the grower?
Yep.
Any import duty? What about delivery when it comes into the port?
Yep.
What are Tesco's?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And that really pissed me off. In the end, I was just like, look, this is the cost.
Yeah.
But the worst thing was the residential side, was obviously what we did. They know that you'll get to the end of the job, you're wanting to get on to the next one.
Yeah.
And they'll knock you.
Yeah.
Even though you've been in Ideal Home magazine or one of the awards. It's show home stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's all there, isn't it? Because we've seen it, again, even from your side, in the trades kind of world there, isn't it? I see it in the dealing with the main contractors and stuff like that, always trying to barter over a price. And you go, what? And we've stuck to a guns really now and just said, no, we're moving. Like, we're going into South London. We've got to pay ULEZ. We've got to pay, I'll go through into ULEZ. We've got vans right now, but I've got to pay congestion charge. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to get up at 5 in the morning to get there. We have to leave at 2 in the afternoon just to get home by 7 at night.
Let me guess, you don't charge for your tender.
No, there isn't. No charge. Yeah, I know this is the thing again now, isn't it? Yeah, and it's the way the industry needs to go.
Can you imagine going to a solicitor saying, "Listen, mate, got a real difficulty at work, or I'm going through a divorce, or whatever it is." Every solicitor I've ever dealt with, from your high street, little Johnny, up to your big corporates, I need at least 2 or 3 grand on account before I start.
Yeah, and this is another thing with it, and you can see that, and not so much us really. We were trying to avoid. Not trying to avoid. We're working with a couple of companies, but we're not needing to tender as such. They know our kind of schedule of rates to a certain degree for everything for us as a gang, of van, tools, everything. So we work off that, and it's working quite well. So we kind of say, look, we're going to turn up, we're going to deliver, and we'll work our asses off, and just to know this is what we kind of work by, and it's plus any materials that come along, what they all know of, and we put a percentage on that. But at the same time, it's that tender thing. I speak to companies, they spend months on this. Well, the bidding teams, don't they? They have departments running on this to win work, and they don't always win. So how much are these bidding teams risking by not being covered?
My view for residential, if you're a little one-man band, let's say, I don't know, painter and decorator, up to,
no obligation, free quotation.
Yeah.
Stick up your arse.
So how we ended up doing it, and I thought this actually, it gets rid of your time wasters when their brother's doing it and they want a comparison, so you're not getting the job. So right, I'll come and have a quick look at the house.
Yep.
Quick run through. Tell me what you want to do, and I'll say on the spot it's going to cost 70 grand plus that, excluding kitchen, floor, and paint.
Yep.
If you're interested, I'll then come back again and give you a proper fixed price.
Yep.
But it's going to cost you, depending on the percentage of the job. So do it as a percentage.
Yeah.
Obviously, a 5 grand bathroom compared with a 4 million new build is a bit different. If you go with us, you get it back.
Yeah.
So you actually have your time. I know it's different now, because when I was doing it, you're up till late, working through the night, getting quotes done. But now there's companies that can do it. But even so, it's still time.
Yeah.
I think even if it's 20 quid for like all stairs and landings are going to cost you X.
Yep.
I'll give you a proper quote on headed paper with all the company details. It's 20 quid.
Yeah.
Same way all the way through to the big one.
Do you recommend much about people going online with Instagram and showcasing their portfolios on there now? Do you find?
That's the big thing. Which again, there's the
it's the go-to when you want to look at something.
Yeah,
now, isn't it?
the part of that talk for home building. I actually changed it a few years ago because social media.
Yeah.
My talk is when I started, if you wanted to advertise, it was a postcard in the corner shop.
Yeah.
And then I said, if you got real money, it was a 1/4-page mono in the local paper. But I said, now we don't need to spend money because it's all here and it's free. It's Instagram or Facebook, TikTok. And then I give a couple of examples. There's a landscaper called Ben who is he's a magician. What he does with porcelain and render is just, I don't know how he does it. But he's got millions, and I mean millions of followers now. He hasn't sold himself out like a lot have. Very, very skillful. And I said, look, even if he's in Sussex, where he is, you might not come to Birmingham, but get some ideas, speak to your people locally. Mm-hmm. And you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You haven't got to start leaving and driving around, so you can do it when the kids are in bed, whatever. And And I said, my expression is, I said, you build a relationship with these contractors and trades before we met them.
Yeah.
Because you think, his brickwork is spot on.
Yeah.
I love his, bird's beak pointing, whatever he's doing. Labour looks a bit of a tit. He's always, smoking in the house, or he's always, leaving fag butts around. Yeah. So you can actually see how they are, because they could be in your house.
Chris packets.
Yeah, exactly.
In the garden.
People swearing in front of the kids, whatever it is, vans blocking the drive.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, social media, if you're not on it, promoting your own work, I think you're missing a trick.
Well, you are. I don't know. You say it's for advertisement. Why wouldn't you be seizing that opportunity? I said to a few people, even like the bricklaying world, just seeing that through the super trout stuff, which is showcasing how many people love watching all that slow motion stuff. You're just putting bricks on bricks, but people love literally just seeing the cement on it. How many different channels you see, and people are watching, engaging in that. But if you capitalise on that, like you say, you have to put your neck out there, don't you? Be confident in your work. But even as a fucking apprentice, if you're going, colleges should be showing these kids this, isn't it? Start just showing your work now. Start showing your work.
Yeah, colleges have got to start getting into 2025. I think. If
what's your view on colleges? Mine is I don't touch them. I'm not interested in the setup. I don't like the way they're set up. I think it's wrong. Well, this is in England alone because Scotland was different.
Go back to school. You think the education system has not changed in over 50 years.
Yeah.
So when my lad came home from school, end of last year, was it? And I said, "Oh, how was school?" He always says the same word, boring. He's sadly got my genes. He's not going to be a university kid. I said, "What did you learn about today?" He said, "Oh, something called Oxbow Lakes." And I just pissed myself. I said, "I used to learn about them. Have I ever needed it in life?" Oh, look, an Oxbow Lake. Brilliant for that interview. Get with it.
Yeah.
So what I actually do with him now is once a week we do something that might help him. So change the fuse and a plug.
Yeah.
How do you set up a bank account?
Yeah.
If the sink's blocked, what do you do? So he's actually got some sort of skills, because learning about Oxbow Lakes ain't going to help him in life.
Yeah.
So I think schools all the way through to college, we've talked about this a million times, the image of construction is awful. That needs changing.
Danny said
we've got to
the podcast before this, we spoke earlier, and he was like, it's getting that, selling this career to these kids, but selling it to the parents. They know they're not saying, "Oh, my kids, we've got to avoid construction," because that is the go-to now, isn't it? I'll probably say it for myself. My kids, I want my daughter or my son to grow up and just be a trade doer, but I want them to. But it's just this world is this industry is in a very dangerous place at the moment, as we know, with the rising statistics year on year on year. Where's that going to be in 10 years' time when my son wants to put his boots on? You know what I mean? So, will I want him joining that? No. So we need to.
Well, that's the big question. When you speak to
reshape
people that have been doing it a while, from groundwork into trades to office workers, would you let your son or daughter? Would you encourage them to join it?
Yeah.
Most people go, "Ain't happening, mate."
No.
That's not good.
And it's a great industry as well, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah. Like you said, and I've said a million times, you could go, and your background in rugby as well. You could go any rugby club in the whole world, and you'll find a job on a construction site just because someone will give you the opportunity, wouldn't they? And I think that's what, if you're a youngster who wants to go travelling in your life, start learning the construction stuff, in it, because you can literally go anywhere, find yourself in a bit of shit, you'll get yourself a job on a site somewhere.
Well, what got me work in Sydney.
Did it? Yeah.
Because I obviously started very early.
Yeah. What year was that then? When did you go?
88.
Oz.
Oh, Oz. 90. God. 4, 5, something
Really,
like that.
I was 6.
And honestly,
30 years ago. Yeah.
If labourers think they got it tough here. Now, I appreciate this was a long time ago, but so I turned up. You think you know everything at that age, don't you? What was I don't know, 19 or something. Got this job labouring, and there was a very simple rule. You do not stand around chatting unless you're having a smoko, cigarette break.
Yeah.
So everybody smoked. And again, I don't know if it's still the same. So what you do, because they don't just sell boxes of 20.
Yep.
They do 20, 30 and 50. So you find the lowest tar, nicotine, whatever. There's one called Long Beach. Was it Long Beach Ultra or something like that? And basically just smoke 50 a day because it's 40 odd degrees. You can't work. I mean, my job, so there was no plant. There was a massive concrete big path that needed breaking up on this site. And it was a wrecking bar. I could barely pick the thing up. That was it.
Yeah.
All day for months.
Yeah.
But by the end of it,
fit as a fiddle.
Fit as a fiddle, tanned.
Yeah.
Smoked far too many fags. But, and then I did, I was earning good money then.
Really?
And then because I was young, I started doing bar work and door work in the evening.
Yeah.
And that was even better money.
Yeah.
You know, you were living like a king.
Was it all big visa situations over there then, back in the 90s in Oz?
There was, what did I get? I got a year's working visa. Loads of people stayed on.
Did they?
Just
Yeah.
sacked it off. The biggest thing was going fruit picking
Was it? Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere and get lost for a bit. And then,
Yeah.
you know you're not going to be coming back in.
Yeah.
But they clamped down on it. I'm not saying I did, but you do open up a bank account with ANZ or Commonwealth, one of the banks over there, and maybe go over your overdraft and it will take a loan out and disappear. So they had a few people doing that and there was no way of tracing them. So I think, I don't know now, but I guess you can still get working visas or holiday visas. But
yeah, interesting. The other thing, my manager on Crossrail, he's over in Brisbane at the moment, and he said that he's more on the rail side of infrastructure working over there. And he's like, they're cute. They're still waiting for. They're saying to anyone you can send over to us, please send them over. Send them over. And likewise yourself, there's a job here when you're ready. They're desperate for people in general, aren't they? I think it's especially the rail side. I think people with a half a head on the rail over here, knowing the systems and how it works and the hierarchy and all that, they're like, if you're at this level, we'll have you.
I think Brisbane a couple of years ago they're putting an awful lot of money into the city because one of the mates that I used to play rugby with, he's from Brizzy. Yeah, there was a lot of money going into that. And that was infrastructure as well.
He was Melbourne 5-6 years ago, and he said he's gone down to Brisbane now because of that. Yeah, that demand on the metro services.
But it was different then. I mean, I ran out of money and ended up going up the coast in this. Oh, it's another story for another day. Basically, I was stoned, and the first guy that I met going up there was I mean, you can't write this
Alex has
stuff.
just found the headline. So he's laugh. He's like, yep, there's the...
he was an ex-Olympic swimmer in a VW camper.
Perfect.
And he had this carrier bag full of gear. I'd never smoked this stuff before. I was still 19, whatever. And I was like, yeah. Anyway, I don't remember the rest of the trip up. So anyway, got to the top. I kept going. I wanted to get up to Cairns. So I'd gone from Sydney all the way up the Gold Coast, Brisbane, way beyond. Didn't get up to Cairns, and then went to my bank account. I've still got the ATM slip somewhere. I had $2.54, which back then was about 60p.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. Borrowed someone's phone card during the war. Phoned my old job, the bar that I worked at in Sydney in the Rocks, and said, "Can I have my job back?" He said, "You've got to get here for Saturday. This is Tuesday." I was like, "Yeah, no problem." He said, "Oh, you got your train or whatever booked?" I was like, "Nah." So how are you getting back? I went, "I'll be there. Trust me." So I had to be back by 6 p.m. on the Saturday for the night shift. Yeah. And everyone was like, "You're going to do it?" And this is gospel truth, mate. I'm going to have to do a book on this. I stuck my thumb out. So it was 1900 Ks. That was a long way. No, maybe more. Yeah. It was way up. And then I soon realised that the people who were going to stop were either fellow travellers.
Yeah.
You weren't going to, axe murderers, pedos, whatever was going to stop. And this is when I met Matey, the swimmer.
Okay.
So this thing he gave me, the next one I had, all I remember was a woman in a really short skirt that wanted me to fix her Arga. This is how random shit got. So I ended up going, I was all over the place. I had nowhere to live. I had a tent.
It's well to do then.
It's well to do. But I don't remember if I went to a house. I had no memory block.
Yeah.
Ended up putting my tent in someone's front garden and got woken up by these mad dogs in the morning. I mean, it was just bonkers. And then the last guy to pick me up was a suit in a Honda Civic thing. And he was an expat. He said, "Oh, where you going?" I said, "Oh, Sydney, whereabouts? The Rocks. I'm going there." So we chatted for 1,200 Ks all the way. This is day 4.
Yeah.
And I hadn't eaten for days.
Yeah.
Because I had no cash. Anyway, cut a long story short, he lived the other side of the Rocks and he knew that I had to get a ferry across. And I told him the story that I had to get back in the Orient, which is still there, the bar and nightclub. So he gave me the money for that. He said, "Look, get something to eat." And I said, "I can't take it." He said, "I insist. I've been where you've been." I got the boat across. So all I had was a rucksack, tent, bit of clothes.
Brilliant.
I had a pair of shorts, rugby socks, trainers, no top. But obviously I was, good nicked, and I got there at 5:45. And I walked in and there must have been 40 staff because it was 4 levels of this bar nightclub.
Yeah.
Everyone came down.
Amazing.
Big. It's like being part of a family.
Yeah.
And again, most of them were construction as well.
Well, yeah.
It was a big.
Did you play rugby out there?
No.
No.
I didn't have time. I was working.
Yeah, I suppose.
Worked in surf, dive and ski. I don't know if you heard of that shop, right? So you have to be a keen surfer or skier to get a job. I just wanted a job. So I've been surfing years, mate. Did it, back in Wales, West Coast. Yeah. Anyway, this bloke walked in and said, "I need to talk to you about a longboard." I was like, "What?" I made the Thursday of the week. I blagged it for 4 days. Honestly, I didn't know surfing was complicated. We just stand on a bit of polystyrene, don't you, and float about. No. So yeah, that was entertaining. But no, I just worked because.
Did you grow up in Wales? Sound that?
No, I wasn't schooled in Wales. It was one side of the family.
Gotcha.
But yeah, then when I came back, because I had 3.5 years in Jersey.
Gotcha.
In
abroad.
That was after Australia.
Cool.
Another story for another day.
Yeah.
But here's a good quiz question. What's the oldest rugby trophy in the world? You should know this.
Where Bellis? I'm just.
Tournament trophy.
Tournament.
Or trophy to win a match, should I say?
Varsity. Oxford.
Not
Cambridge.
bad. Calcutta Cup.
Oh, is it really? Yeah.
Do you know
I suppose it was the first. It's the first international game played, right?
Yeah.
England, Scotland.
And do you know? Actually, I think you're right. It was.
Yeah,
do you know what the second oldest is? You'll never guess it, but it's a brilliant story.
What the second
oldest trophy behind the Calcutta Cup?
I can't think of which even ones there are out there now. No, go on.
It's called the Siam Cup, and it's Jersey against Guernsey.
Oh, really? Is it really?
So when I was in Jersey, obviously I was playing out there, and you had your trials, your selection, because there was 2 leagues, I think, God, long time ago. Got picked, and you got put on this plane that was about as big as this desk.
Was it? Yeah.
You literally went about that far.
Because they do well. We were talking about this at the rugby at Richmond last week. They do bloody well, Jersey and Guernsey.
They did.
Getting a good club together.
So this was mid-90s, 96, 97 I went there.
Yeah.
And Jack Walker, who used to own Blackburn Rovers and Jersey European, I don't know what they're called now as an airline, even if they're still going, he wanted to put in new runway for international flights. Part of it, we want a new rugby pitch.
Yeah.
So state of the art, still there.
Yeah.
And Jersey got up to, not that long ago, they were championship, but they obviously went bust as well. Like my other previous club, London Welsh.
Yeah.
So basically anywhere I've played, gone bust.
Yeah, because those Southend play them quite a little bit, Jersey or Guernsey. You always mix up. I think it's Jersey. But we're saying, there's a few, I think there's a couple of money spinners over there, aren't they, who pump into them and they give people the opportunity to come over, set them up working situations.
When they're in a league,
yeah,
you've got to fly.
Yeah, this is the crazy, and it's a cracking fixture, isn't it? Cracking fixture, away fixture for the lads, isn't it?
Well, we found that we had a lot of the Army and Navy teams coming down for all the Sevens tournaments, and fair play. You know what the Army boys are like. It was just like turn up 7 in the morning.
Well, they make a real big deal about touring teams. I think someone was talking in Jersey. If you're saying you're going to tour at Jersey, the club will look after you big time because they know they've got 40, 50 people coming over to spend money, and they'll pick you up from the airport with a coach, and they almost like host the rugby tour for you. I've been told. A really good crack.
They're really good. I mean, it was the old school way of finishing the match or the tournament, showered, upstairs, and there was just jug, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And you know that within half an hour they're all going to be gone. So they're already pouring the next lot. They brought in extra jugs for touring teams.
Yeah.
Because, you know what it's like. You're there doing boat races and drinking competitions and all this.
Yeah.
Everyone behaves themselves generally in rugby. It's not football.
No.
And
so we've played Taxi Driver, card game. This popped out in my head yesterday.
I'm thinking of one of those funny websites that you're talking about. Is that Taxi Driver?
Fake taxi, apparently. Apparently.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver we used to play at an owl club. I think it was a diamond formation. And it's hard to get through. It was almost measured in, no one's got through in less than 3.5 pints or 4 pints. And this is talking like 15, 20 minutes, half hour of a game. But you got to flip over the top card. I think I can't remember the rules exactly. I haven't played. I've been drinking responsibly for a few years now. I'm not irresponsibly like I used to. But you turn over. I think it was any card with Jack or above, Jack to Ace, basically a picture card or whatever you call them, or a Joker. And you had to get all the way through without lifting one of them. So you go 2 of hearts, 3 of diamonds, 7. But you kind of work through the lines. So 1, 2, then 3 the stages, and then you go back down. You've got to get to the far end without getting a card with a thing. And I think Jack was 2 fingers, Queen was 3 fingers, King was 4, Ace was 5, and then a Joker was down your pint or something like that. And it would just people, someone would come in and just get them through it, in not a lot. But then some people, when it went bad, it went really bad. But now looking at it, and I'm like, how did we have nights out off the back of those kind of?
You would be
you would have been
yeah. So did you ever
absolutely?
So the game. So we went to a tournament. Was it Newquay Tens? I think it was.
Yeah.
Years ago, and there was 4 of us that were injured.
Yeah.
And we were like, look, we booked and paid. It's all done. We'll go down. And we'd been out the night before the tournament, as you do. And we got there and we're all hanging. It's like, right, we've got to have a pint. So Terry, one of the boys, there's Terry, Di, was it Shrek and me? And so 10 o'clock we'd had the first pint, which took several weeks to go down. You know what it's like the first one.
Needles.
Then the second one went down quite, I was like, oh, this is nice, this. Feeling all right. Then I stupidly introduced her all, right, whoever's round it is decides on drinks. We had white wine spritz with umbrellas coming out, all sorts, Pernod. Anyway, Terry, because he's quite clever, Terry, even though he's a hell of a drinker, started counting. So put it in his phone. So anyway, I went to phone, I can't even remember, I think it was the wife at the time, just gone 6. And Terry went, before you get on the phone, mate, just to let you know, we've just done 20 pints. And you think, as you say, how the hell did you function?
Yeah.
Then you got the golf ball in play and the peg and you're doing finger spoof.
Yeah.
And you think, well, don't give us shorts.
Yeah.
We're 20 ahead of you lot.
It always be, I was working, if you worked on a Saturday and you got there after, missed the game and catch everyone after, you go straight to the stead of snake bites just to get yourself catch up. Well, I'm playing catch up, right? We're usually drinking Guinnesses and Carlins and whatever.
Don't know if you ever got to the stage where you've had an all day or you've been on tour and you know when you fill up with lager, if you're in certain countries they only do lager or cider. We basically said no to shorts and spirits because we're a men's rugby team. So, but there was one drink that was allowed as the go-to have a breather from lager or cider. Do you know what it was? Gin and bitter lemon. Seriously,
really?
to this day, we still have a breather on it. Yeah, banging. Did you play spoof? Finger spoof?
Yeah.
You get fingers in?
Yes, yeah, great game. Yeah, absolutely great. Oh yeah, there's so many. We even played, what was the card game we played last week with Josh?
Chase the Ace.
Chase the Ace was a good game. Yeah, Shithead was another one. That was another good card game.
The other one, which you do, the more pissed you get.
Spoof, what a game.
Spoof, finger spoof, brilliant.
And you're not allowed to laugh. You celebrate either.
We threw in a few rules.
You just wasn't allowed to celebrate. That was it. Yeah.
Can't celebrate when you win.
Yep.
Then, as you get more pissed, this becomes impossible. No swearing. So if you're like, I'm out, twat. Oh, bollock, fuck. And suddenly you've got like 5 pints.
Yeah.
And then
left-handed
drinking on the hour. But then the other one, which is brilliant, I can't call you Steve. I have to address you as Mr. Kerslake. So if you've got a nickname or Christian name that everyone calls, so you can imagine this goes from 0 to 60 pretty quick.
Yeah.
And what was it? Oh, the other one, obviously, to my left, to my right, famous rugby players from the 70s. And you think we'll go around loads.
Yeah, alphabet ones, weren't they? Go through the alphabet of naming different people or stuff like that.
But there was no phones.
Yeah.
So there wasn't the difficulty of, I don't think that, we were saying this the other day.
That has changed the dynamic, isn't it? Yeah, everything gets seen and showcased. We probably could report back some of that from the rugby the other week, wasn't it? Look, there was a few things we had to take away from the edit and on the editing suite, shall we say. No comment, because structured sport is all
worst, the most stupid thing we did, and I don't know why, because it was actually at London Welsh. We were upstairs we weren't in the John Dawes room. Anyway, in one of the rooms upstairs, and so we had a finding session. A guy called Danny Griffiths, he's now the chairman of the club, but he has this alter ego called the Rev, right? And he comes out.
The alter egos, yeah.
And he comes out and he's he should be on telly. He's so quick, so funny, but obviously you send in when you were playing fines, these sorts of things. And he just extends it and exaggerates it. Anyway, it's really funny. You end up with, you have weights and measures, you got a pint of God knows what, you're wellied. Yeah. Big sing-song at the end, Canalan, Sussman Vark, Bread of Heaven, whatever it is, then general drinking. And then we decided, someone broke into the kitchen and found a load of flour. So we had naked wrestling in flour. Someone found the pictures, what do you call them, disposable cameras. They weren't phones. Yeah. And you think, why would you do that? There's a picture of Shrek and me. So Shrek's obviously a prop.
Yep.
If he was green, he looks just like Shrek. And there was another nickname, but obviously we won't go into that because of where we are. But it's so you think, why would you naked wrestle in flour?
It's like the human bowling. So that they get just beer all along the clubhouse floor, wouldn't it? They get the smallest, normally a scrum half, and just launch him down the club. It's mad.
It's madness. But you know what's funny about, because London
building.
Welsh is obviously went bust. I think it's had its 6th promotion in 7 seasons.
Is it? Yeah.
Kai Griffiths, who's ex Ospreys, and all the others have done really, really well to get the team up the leagues again. But it's got a lot of history. Charles opened that in the 50s. Or reopened it, should I say. But the funny thing is, some of the carpets and curtains are still the same.
Yeah.
And you think, how many pints of God knows what as these? And they were second hand when they were putting the club from a hotel in London.
There's our original clubhouse. I wasn't so much part of the club in South Woodland when I was there, but the original clubhouse, there was always this joke of they tried to burn it down so many times, but it was so damp, it just wouldn't go up. They used to always say it, and it was, but they would say the lock-ins and honesty bars and help yourself, and it was, but everyone used to do it. And I think even then it was probably not so much. They'd train on a Tuesday and Thursday, and then it would be massive nights every night. Like Tuesday night would be big, Thursday night big.
Is it the same now, do you think?
No.
I mean,
that team they can't get a team out. They can't get a team out. Not many clubs I'm seeing tour, Malden tour. They might have the odd one every now and then.
Are they proper like 5-day, let's get on it, playing a tournament?
Yeah, I don't know. I know of maybe 3 days. We had 3 or 4 really good ones. Exeter was my first one. Newcastle was good. There was a few tours in between I didn't go on. The boys went Bristol.
I know Malden did Hamburg last year for like 3-4 days.
Yeah. So there's a few out there, but
we had someone kidnapped on tour.
Did you? Yeah. Yes, we've done it before. It's fantastic.
No.
Oh, genuinely for
genuine.
Oh, fuck.
So Dino.
I was just saying. Someone couldn't make it, so we kidnapped. That he got kidnapped and taken on tour because he said he couldn't come. So we literally in the morning, fucking.
Oh no, we were man down.
Put a case over the head in the back of the van.
Oh, that's good.
You're coming.
But
it's like the weakest kicking. Oh no! Please don't take me away for 3 days. Oh no! I've got no money, and I was going to spend. Everyone's going to look after me. Yeah.
No, we.
Jenny got kidnapped.
Yeah, Dino, mad Kiwi, lovely guy. Dino, back row. We sort of gather in the morning at breakfast. Some not slept, some still out.
Yeah.
Hang on, we're missing someone. Where's Dino? Anyway, later on that day, he turns up. His face is all cut to bits. His elbows, all that. I'm like, what happened? He goes, I got kidnapped. I'm like, what? So we got kidnapped, stuck in the back of a car, gospel, driven up these mountains. I don't know what was going to go on.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were doing this to him. So we're like, how'd you escape, Dino? And he said, well, I worked out the slowest they were going on some of the corners or whatever was 30 or 40. I'd throw myself out of the car. So you threw yourself out of a moving car up the mountains and got me. He said, yeah, otherwise they're going to kill me. So Dino got kidnapped, but got back.
Where was the tour?
That was, oh my God, they all blend into one. It was either Bratislava, Warsaw.
Oh Christ, it wasn't.
It's one of them.
It wasn't Lowestoft the Yarmouth.
No.
Suffolk town or something.
The best. I don't know why we're talking about this on a construction podcast.
But just divulge. Yeah, the good stories work.
The best story, and I love this. We had someone, maybe I won't mention his name. He was a fat winger. Anyway, we were in Spain, and we got the coach to our tournament in Valencia. Drove in, billboards everywhere, welcome London, Wales, blah, blah, blah. And we were the vets. We weren't the first team. We're like, oh shit, they think we're the proper outfit here. So anyway, he was really pissed, really pissed. A lot of us were really bad on the coach. So we got there, and as he said, I've got to go. I'm not in a good way here. As we've pulled in, sell-out crowd, all this, none of us can see. We're like, do we just have a pint and just sort ourselves out because we're not good? You know, when the doors of a coach, they sort of open like that. Guess who's greeting us? The mayor. So he's got all of his chains of office and all this stuff on him around his neck, right? And he's got his suit and all that, big crowd, cameras. The doors have opened. He's first there. He's just thrown up all over his feet.
Oh no, superb.
And it was just, we lost by I think 2 points.
Yeah.
I played with a dislocated elbow because someone rugby tackled me in a nightclub off a podium the night before. So I played with this arm strapped to this chest.
Yeah.
It was the maddest tour.
Yeah.
But just memories, man.
No, there was one little thing I remember the guys doing, initiations, not that they're a thing anymore. And that was literally to pull, I think they'd pull a vegetable out of the hat and it'd be like a lump of garlic, a whole, there'd be a clove of garlic, a whole onion, a whole ginger. There's a number of different things. Yeah. And it'd be like, and there was four tour versions, not tour versions, match first senior games. And they'd all pull these out of the hat and they'd all have to eat the whole of it. And just the smell in a clubhouse, they could be miles away, and you could just smell where onion was and where ginger was and where all that. And it was just, now looking back, I suppose it was character building, isn't it? Really, but there was a few, wasn't there? There was one. It hit major headlines, I think, the other year. There was someone who was, I think they forced open a bottle of beer on his backside, and his mum, he wasn't too pleased with it. And I think the club actually got done for like sexual harassment or something like that, and then. So it happens when you bring phones into the situation, I suppose, isn't it? And that kind of
phones off.
Yeah, that's literally it now.
Yeah.
But Well, there we go. That's the rugby background. But the construction side of things then, we're going together. Talking a construction podcast.
But can I think there's such a similar way of life and people from being in a gang on a construction site to playing rugby.
Yeah, 100%.
I found it, and that's from Sydney back here, wherever.
Yep.
It's a very similar
Nature
mindset.
of the beast.
And I think that's the difficulty with a lot of the big sites when you're jumping from site to site, team to team, blah, but you haven't got that. Hello, mate, how are you?
Yeah.
You don't even know them.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's one thing we need.
Yeah. Construction, mental health. We're getting involved with a few bits, aren't we? You had Mark Reynolds on your Build Network.
Yeah, he was on, September, October. Got a good relationship with Mark. Do speak to him and message each other weekends and evenings and stuff. I think I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. I think his heart's in the right place, but look at who he is and what he does. He's I know he's sort of semi-retired, but he still runs Mace, which is hardly the smallest firm in the world.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how big they were globally, not just UK.
Yeah.
He stepped down, I think, from the CLC.
Yes, he stepped down from the CEO from Macy to one below, I think. So
yeah.
The CLC still up
So
there.
he's still co-chair with that, I think.
Gotcha.
I think he's very supportive and passionate about various things, but he's obviously quite a busy man.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing is we are starting to move forward because like I've said this for ages, we're at a tipping point. And we're either going to go in a good way or things are going to crumble and we're going to be screwed.
So this is it. So the doors have opened a little bit. Opportunities are arising, aren't they, in terms of supporting the mental health of this industry, and cogs are moving there, aren't they? Is a fair way to say it, isn't it? There's cogs moving, but it's just got to think we're doing some work. We've got a meeting with them tomorrow morning.
It's ironic, isn't it? Tomorrow morning.
Yeah. We had a meeting take two, isn't it? We had a meeting last week with them. Bit of pushing and shoving backwards and forwards how it was going to be done, but we got in the room together, didn't we? It was hugely beneficial to be in front of each other.
I think as I say, so the time this goes out, obviously we would have had the meeting we're having tomorrow, but I think a lot of people talk a good game.
Yeah.
I personally think there's some people in it for the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair.
Looks fucking great on LinkedIn with a nice picture with people saying I'm at this, this and this. As I said all along, first word's got to be transparency.
Yeah.
As we were said in there, people are working in the background. It's all very secret. Why don't we just tell the industry?
Yeah, and
what's secret?
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? I think it's got to be. We've seen how it's been done in the past. They spoke about that, addressed that a little bit last week. Let's keep going. They addressed it a little bit last week about how other campaigns or campaigns in general had been presented and then delivered a little bit hijacked. But then I think that's from what I'm thinking as well. It's like, brilliant. We've learned how not to do it now, isn't it? Well, the industry now knows how not to. And with the right people and passion, I'd like to say I think we're probably the two of the loudest people in this area, that there's not many more people out there as passionate as what we are on it. So
it's not.
I think they're recognising that was brilliant and healthy.
I think they're recognising it's not just passionate, but I think it's the fact that
honest. Yeah,
it's honest, but also hands-on.
Yeah, 100%.
The calls you get, the things I hear.
Yeah,
having groundwork of builder. We've been on the tools for a long time.
Yeah,
we're in the thick of it. But I think as well the fact that obviously you had your incident years ago.
Yep.
Which affected you massively. Obviously, my suicide attempt 6 years ago. I think, I always remember that it was funny enough. He was the tight head prop. I said this before to you. He came and sat on my bed afterwards and he said, "And one day you'll turn it into a positive." I was like, "You fucking mental. Look at the state of me."
Yeah. Where's the positive in this?
Yeah, where's the positive in this? He's bang on. I'll give him that.
Yep.
And that gives you that extra bit of drive. And that's when I said to you the scaffolder, not very good with names, recently, took his life.
Louis Lillington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I read that, I just bawled.
Yeah.
And I think why it hit me so home, I saw the photograph of him and his other half and 3 kids. And I thought, shit, that was nearly me. And more so than others, because of probably how close to home it was, I was like, this is probably that last little thing you think, right, it's time. This has got to be sorted.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Again, it's 24 hours ago, we had a phone call coming on Bank Holiday Monday. Someone's on the edge of killing himself last week. Young lad, son of a construction worker, needs help. And it's just last Saturday before last, construction worker killed on site. 3 weeks ago, same situation. Digger kills another bloke on site. There's death surround this industry all the time, and it's standing up, being proud, and being accountable, isn't it?
Well, that's the next thing. Whoever this group is,
leadership in the grand scheme of it. Now, not just the leadership council, but leadership in. Look at the state of this country. We've got Keir Starmer doing. We'll talk about spanners. I was listening the other day about he was head of the court system. What was his previous job? CPS.
He was the one that let all the
all the
Jimmy Saviles and all that.
Yeah, all that, and what was going on with these gangs, rape gangs, basically, and what was going on, and that wouldn't have gone unnoticed at his position, and think people were walking without even being punished for it. And now he's running our country, but that's a whole new podcast. We can have a construct sport political debate one day, but fucking hell, when you got these, but like, what is leadership, isn't it? And I always think
standing up and being accountable, because I think a lot of people that we found, what we know of, that will say we're involved, we're doing this, we're working on that. Well, I've always said, give me something that's significantly been put in place for mental health and construction in the last decade. Give me one thing.
Yep.
And I haven't found anyone give me an answer yet. Now, whoever's been doing this, basically, you lot should do one, because clearly you've done nothing. Yeah. I don't think
you can't even find a person accountable. That's
exactly.
The thing. Yeah.
So whoever this new group is, forget leadership council, forget this. It's got to have we both agree on this, an independent name and brand.
Yeah.
The people involved in it, and I think it needs to be no more than 6. Mm-hmm. I think they need to be held accountable. So you have goals, you have objectives, pretty much like anything else you'd run as a business. Yep. Look at it in 12 months. If you've got nowhere near any of that, right, on your bike, you failed. Unless a major thing, huge recession, lockdown, whatever.
Yep.
But also, when you've got that, you be open to the industry and say, right, this is what we're doing. This is now in place. We've got this, and I'm not going to say research, we've got this program being put together. This is coming out on 31st of June, whatever. Yep. People can then see what's going on, because why should it be so secret?
Yeah.
And I think up till now, no one's really grabbed the ball by the horn and saying, right, I'm going to run with this. Yeah. It's just like, because, if you can't turn up to a very important meeting in London, it's not Cornwall, with plenty of notice.
Are you that bothered?
If you care about anything, if it's your family, if it's your sport, if it's your work, you will be there or do something to make that. If you're not really that bothered.
Yeah. I think the 19th of May will show that, saying that. Come to Warwickshire for this research day at the university. See how many turn up on that. That'll give you a little bit of separation between who's serious and who's not as well, won't it? Who's going to put a date in their diary.
Again, it's a fairly, to me, easy place, because it's middle of the country.
Yeah, exactly that.
Warwick Midlands, it's not.
Yeah, so I'm excited for tomorrow morning.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think, looking at it from the outside in, it has needed the likes of you and me. I mean, I've had all sorts of names, disruptor, pioneer, whatever. But I don't give a shit what people want to call me. The point is, we do care about it, and we want to get something sorted, because nothing has been sorted. Nothing will be sorted. If it carries on the way it is, we will be sitting here in 1, 2, 10 years going, this has got worse.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's people's lives.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about tomorrow. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going to let them off. Happy days. It's going to be a good day. It's fucking fat too. Let's get up on. I think I flight mode. Happy days. Rugby tours are ready.
Yeah.
Next year. We're playing rugby against the combined military team on the 16th of July at Crowthorne Rugby Club.
Sussex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not far from Broadmoor. If that makes sense.
That could be a...
Because apparently I think the club was something to do with Broadmoor at the start of its revelation. So we should fit right in.
That would be a great day.
Yeah. So 16th
just
of July.
Quickly...
yeah, I think we have touched on.
Yeah, no, before we go... we talked about it just briefly with Danny before we switched seats. Do you feel the industries at the moment, the mental health side, it seems to be run by charities? Do you not think this, because we all know the politics between the charities.
Yeah.
We know everybody. It's
politics.
It's fairly clear.
Yeah.
And then if you don't know, you've not been involved. But, it's very evident. And I don't see that changing.
Yep.
I don't. While certain people are
Yeah.
CEOs. But if we had this group, body, steering committee, whatever wanky name you want to call it, giving leadership,
Yeah.
don't you think it would be better? Because at the moment, all I see from the outside in is some charities like yours, a couple that are doing brilliant work, some not.
Yeah.
But from the outside in, all the charities are fighting together.
It shouldn't be, should it? But the charity sector doesn't know the construction sector, does it? I don't think. I'd like to say a little bit different from us because we're construction workers. We're construction workers. Well, I'm a construction worker before I'm a charity worker. I promise you that. And it's just kind of, why are we being depended on in this way? I think it's wrong. I think there should be a leading organisation. I think there should be people in business that know how to. It should be dealt with like a business health system in a way that if we don't fix this, our business will go bust, the industry will go bust. If everyone kills themselves, there's no one here. You know what I mean? What a horrible place. So, no, I don't think. We only went down the charity route because we wasn't getting supported by existing ones at the time, 10 years ago, so 8 years ago. And now we're at a position where I'm like, why is it a go-to? What, when you fix this, let's go to charity to do it. We shouldn't be held responsible for fixing this.
I can't think of another industry that does that.
Wrong, isn't it? So wrong. Especially when you actually know. And
We're
we
not
know from
small. There's 3.2 million people in construction.
Yeah.
In the
So I
UK.
think this is the really promising thing of bringing together an organisation what can sit outside of the charitable sector, but is in place, supported and funded with people who work for it, who are willing to be accountable, to take ownership of it and go, right, this is the opportunity we've got. It's the best opportunity ever. Start from scratch. We're in a hole. We need to get out of it. You're not going to start in this position of trying to fix this and get lower. I know the figures we get more, but you've got to be going that the only way out of this is positive now because we're at an all-time low. It's
that's a good thing. To finish on a massive positive, we can't get any worse.
Yeah, this is fucking awful.
The accidents that have resulted in death, as you know, have jumped up.
Even
suicide numbers. So,
and even we said as well, wasn't it? You say that even the figures, they can't get the figures right. It's all unknown.
That's the saddest thing for me, that ONS have, and I'm not saying it's their fault, but someone's got to take the blame, cannot give us an accurate figure for. They have done in the past, but when you drill down into the minor groups, subgroups, and all these little categories, I've said to you a million times, skilled trades. Yeah. With my divvy usual hat on, that means trades.
Yep.
But it includes things like jewellers.
Yeah.
So the figures are skew if. And I think that the group, the first thing I've got to do, if it comes from government or whatever, saying, right, ONS, give us a figure that's 100% construction.
Yeah.
Because it might only be 300 a year, it could be 3,000.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but we'll get there.
Bonkers. Andy Stevens, always a pleasure. The door's always open.
Good to see you, mate.
We say a few people now. We say we want to be an open podcast and people can come in at any point, any time. More than once, more than twice, get involved, eat pizza.
Apologies for the delay in coming down. It did take a while to get visas and currency and all that, but I made it.
You'll go home with new white teeth and a fake tan. Welcome to
Some loafers.
some white winkle pickers.
With tassels on.